Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Bobby, and this is a Myth Makers acting class. And today we're going to present some of our monologues, stories, songs. So I hope that you enjoy. At the end of the class, sometimes we give, if there's time, we give feedback. So I would love it if you guys would give us some of your feedback. We're looking for positive feedback, or sensory feedback, or psychic feedback. There are people still entering the room, so be patient with me here. And just to let you guys know that we will have another acting class.
This is Marston's acting class.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you on Snapchat?
Yes. Maybe.
Snapchat? I need to add you guys on Snapchat.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I need to.
I'm going to put you on mute.
Mommy.
Okay, so the acting class will start next Tuesday, I believe. So get back to me on that if you want to enter. It's Mercury retrograde, so you know, I could be wrong, I could be right, I don't know. So just make sure you say, hey, is that next week or is that the week after, as far as the acting class goes. Okay. So here we go. We're going to start our performance now. This is called Tales of the Gods and the God and the Goddess. We're going to start off with Susan doing a piece. I'm going to ask you to unmute, Susan.
Okay, this is a conversation between Martha Graham, one of the most revolutionary dancers and choreographers of the 20th century. She started modern dance, after all, and Agnes de Mille, a younger contemporary of hers, also a choreographer with a unique bent on things, who was very strong in musical theater. So here is the conversation. The greatest thing she ever said to me was in 1943, after the opening of Oklahoma, when I suddenly had unexpected, flamboyant success for a work I thought was only fairly good, after years of neglect for work that I thought was fine. I was bewildered and worried that my entire scale of values was untrustworthy. I talked to Martha. I remember the conversation well. It was in a Schraff's restaurant over a soda. I confessed that I had a burning desire to be excellent, but no faith that I could be. Martha said to me very quietly, "There's a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you. And this expression is unique because you are the only person in all of time to express it. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and be lost. The world will not have it. Now, it is not your business to determine how good it is, nor how valuable, nor how it compares to other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours, clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You don't even have to believe in yourself or what you do. You have to keep yourself open and aware of the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. As for you, Agnes, you have a peculiar and unusual talent, and so far you have only used 1/3 of it. But I said, when I see my work, I take for granted what other people value in it. I only see its ineptitude, its inorganic flaws, its crudities. I'm not pleased or satisfied. No artist is pleased. But then there is no satisfaction? No satisfaction whatever at any time, she cried out passionately. Just a queer, divine dissatisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us marching and makes us more alive than the others. Scene.
This piece is from Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra. I am playing the part of Cleopatra. O Charmian, where thinkest thou he is now? Stands he, or sits he, or does he walk, or does he ride his horse? Oh, happy horse to bear the weight of Antony. Do bravely, horse, for what thou whom thou movest. 'Tis the demi-atlas of this earth, the burgonet and arm of men. Shh, for he is speaking now, or he is murmuring. Where is the serpent of old Nile? Or so he calls me. Now I must feed myself the most delicious poison. Think on me, that I am with Phoebus' armor's pinches black in time. The broad-fronted Caesar. When he stood above the ground, I was a mere morsel of a monarch. And the great Pompey, he did stand, and his eyes did grow up in my brow, and there he anchored his aspect, and he did die looking upon his life. Scene.
Yay, thanks, Bobby. My name is Marston. I will be performing the charge of the goddess. Trying to get the view to switch to me, but it's not. This was written by Doreen Valente. Listen to the words of the great goddess, she of old who was called Artemis, Aphrodite, Diana, Isis, Caradwin, and by many other names. Whenever you have need of anything, once in a month, or better when the moon is full, you shall gather in some secret space and honor my spirit, for I am queen of all the wise. You shall be free from slavery And as a sign of your freedom, you may be naked in your rights. Sing, dance, feast, make music, and love, all in my presence. For mine is the ecstasy of the spirit, and mine also is joy on earth. My law is love unto all beings. Mine is the ecstasy of the spirit, and mine also is joy on earth. Mine is the secret that unlocks the door of youth, and mine also is the cup of life's wine, which is the cauldron of Caradwen, the holy grail of immortality. I give the knowledge of the spirit eternal, and beyond death, I give peace, freedom, and reunion with those who have gone before. I demand no sacrifice. For behold, all acts of love and pleasure are my rituals. I am the mother of all things. My love is poured out upon the earth. Hear the words of the great star goddess, the dust of whose feet form the host of heaven, whose body encircles the universe. I, who am the beauty of the green earth and the white moon among the stars, call upon your soul to arise and come unto me. For I am the soul of nature that gives life to the universe. From me all things proceed, and unto me they shall return. Let my worship be in the heart that rejoices. All acts of love and pleasure are my rituals. Let there be beauty and strength, power and compassion, honor and humility, mirth and reverence within you. And those who would seek to know me, know that your seeking and yearning will avail you not unless you know the mystery. For if that which you seek you find not within yourself, you will never find it without. For behold, I have been with you from the beginning, and I am that which is attained at the end of desire. Blessed be seen. Woo! So wind started up when I started that. Everything got a little wild and my paper blew away and blessed be.
Yay, thank you, Marston. Thank you, Susan. So we're gonna take a break now. We're gonna take a 5-minute break. And yeah, we'll be back. We just have to do, some of us have to do some costume changes. So one moment, please.
We can speak amongst ourselves. My biggest fan is here, my mummy. It just started raining.
And just to remind you guys that this is being recorded.
Okay.
Okay, we're coming back. So we're going to start with Susan doing her piece first.
Unbound by Nancy Levitt. We may never know all we hold, how we hold all we can, or how the light catches us when we are out of breath. It's a sign of healing to be feeling again. The real breakthrough can only arise through heartbreak. That which ails cures, reminding us that it's always about beginning and then beginning again. As the waves crash me, I trust the sand to polish my edges smooth, dissolving denial, revealing real, with courage and confidence, igniting my core. Contraction and expansion, let the light stream in, and the stillness, after so much thrashing, allows the body to wring the sorrow out. As freedom floods, shadows may persist. Know your undertow. And remember, you always have the strength to choose how to engage. The clouds unveil the view when you are ready to climb. Now is the time to notice the miraculous moments in your life as they are happening. This is the making of me, and we will walk courageously into the daybreak from the night, shining our light together. Scene.
Okay, so this piece is called Love Divine, and it's written by me. Home is like the wind against my skin, the innocence of Mother Earth, the beginning and the end. Inside you will find love divine. And isn't it the sweetest thing the only song my heart will sing. I am water, watch how I flow. I am the earth, unbreakable. Inside, inside, you will find love divine. That's me, in between the beats of love's rhapsody. I feel my roots grow deep into the earth. I kiss the axis mundi as I balance on your breath. A love song so deep. A love that sublimely manifests. A love that can express the universal movement through consciousness. I'm awake. I'm ready. Inside, inside, you will find love divine. This is Genesis, Starburst Formation. You are a natural force of nature. We are medicine. We are one with the water. We are one with the light. Welcome home. Scene.
Thank you. Okay, thanks everybody. My name's Micah Sun. I've got a little story to share. I've got some music. The birds behind me sing their trills. I'll bring you a story that was passed down to me from Martin Shaw and from him, before him, others. And a song, the song I bring by Lawrence Cole. Your grief for what you've lost. Your grief for what you've lost holds a mirror up to where you were so bravely searching. There was an orchard in your heart. There's an orchard on a hill of green grass, and within it stands an old king, as gray can be. Amidst his orchard of apple trees, swaying in wind and feeling his youth again. And he says, I decree, he says, whoever shall pick the apples from this apple tree, let them be damned into the earth, for this is my place. Let them drop 100 times 100 feet down into earth. In reverie, he spoke these words, and not but later that very eve, his daughters 3 appeared. One with the far-seeing eyes of the hawk, one with the heart of the mother bear, and one with the stubbornness of the goat. All of them knowing this place, but not knowing their father's decree, wanting to eat an apple, each of them 3. And the youngest one, goat-like, said, let it be begun. We will start eating. And they ate of the apples as wondrous and wonderful as could be. And then dropped like a stone down into the earth. When their father found them gone, his sorrow knew no bound. He remembered having said something in his reverie, but not the exact curse to set them free, and called on those who could come and seek the sisters. None returned from the dark wood. None who sought returned until one day 3 brothers, hunters, came. We will seek for the daughters 3. We will find them in these woods. Let us go. Bold and brash and young of bone, they struck their way out into the wood, hunting for sport, making merry, hearing the song of the birds. As evening fell, they spied a castle. Strange, they had never seen it before on their jaunts. They found it, and as they approached its rubble and ivy-covered walls, they smelled the smell of food cooking. What could it be? Something coming from these ruins, and they entered. A feast was spread, all the foods you could want or imagine, long for, or have ever tasted delightfully in your life. And they began to eat, and that night a bed was laid for each, a space to be. And the next day, the castle reconstituting itself around them as if welcoming them home in some magic spell. And they said, let us stay here. I know it was our quest to hunt, our quest to seek, our quest to find the daughters 3 lost so long ago, but at least let one of us remain behind and enjoy this place. And so one by one, they each went a-hunting, and one would stay behind. Well, before long, knock on the door. One who was remaining the eldest opened the door, and there stood a very, very small man with body the color of earth and moss, as naked as could be. And in parlance of us today, we would call them an earth god. May I come in? Said the little one. Oh, sure, said the elder brother. Come in. May I cross the threshold? Well, sure. May I? And they smelled, the little earth gods smelled the smell of wondrous baking bread, which you all may know is a compelling and wonderful smell. May I have a piece of bread? Well, I don't see why not, said the elder brother. And so, cut him off a piece of bread, and the little deity grasped the bread and then deliberately let it fall to the ground. Would you mind picking up that bread? Well, I guess I will. And the eldest brother picked it up when immediately the little gnome produced a club from behind his head and started beating the older brother into the ground. What could be going on? And then fled off into the woods. The next day, the same thing occurred. The middle brother stayed behind, and a little man appeared. May I enter the house? May I cross the threshold? May I eat some bread? And the middle brother said, of course, but the same thing occurred when the little man dropped the bread, and the middle brother bent to pick it up for him, beaten across the head. Oh, day 3 came, and the youngest brother stayed behind at the castle. Knock on the door, and the little man came in and again asked for bread. When he took it, he drops it deliberately onto the ground in front of the youngest brother and says, would you mind picking that up for me? And the youngest brother looked down and said, I certainly will not. A person who cannot even hold the bread they are given does not deserve to have it picked up for them and handed back. And the little man suddenly appeared merry and in great form and said, you know what? I know where to find the daughters you're looking for. Things happen quickly in fairy tales sometimes. And took him out back to a well, an eerie well behind the castle that he'd never seen before. spider webs and dripping moss, the bones of ghouls from your deepest heart. And the little man said, down at the bottom of that well are the three sisters. And down in each of their chambers, upon their laps, rests the head of a dragon, one for each. And the head of the dragon, resting between their hips, grows hair apace. And it is the job and the task of the sisters to comb and cut that hair, to cut and comb the hair, to comb and cut the hair of the dragons. And there is a time for combing and a time for cutting, or so they say. And the little man said, whatever you do, do not tell your two older brothers, for they do not have your best interests at heart. And vanished. Well, the first thing younger brother did was tell the two older brothers what he'd found. Extent, oh my God, you wouldn't believe it. Look at this well. The sisters are at the bottom. Well, said the oldest brother, I certainly be the first to go down into the bottom of that well. Just put me in the bucket, lower me down. Down, 10 feet, 15 feet. The walls tight around them, the dripping of the water, and then they finally scream, oh, bring me up, bring me up. And up they came from the bottom of the well, reeled back up by the brothers. The next one went, the middle brother, and the same thing happened. He got but a bit farther, and then was terrified by the creeping spiders and the lack of light. Pull me up! But of course, the younger brother was able to make it to the bottom. All the way to the bottom. Well, it was very dark, dripping, and they walked a little ways. And spied a door, and behind it, a sister sat with the head of a dragon in her lap, combing and cutting and combing. May I come in? Said the youngest brother. Of course. Do you need my help? Anything I can do? Yes, there is a time for combing and a time for cutting, and you know what time it is now. And the eldest brother drew a sword and cut the head off the dragon, and did the same with the other two. But he did a very intelligent thing, and that was to take the tongues of each of the dragons and put them in his sack. Because when you descend to the depths of the underworld, it's a wise choice to keep evidence of your journey, something to show and tell a little bit about for later. The sisters were raised up in the buckets, one by one, up the buckets, up the well, until all three stood above. And then the youngest brother got in. Bring me up! They started to pull and got about halfway until the two eldest brothers looked at themselves and said, you know, let's just leave them behind. We've got what we want. And they took their knives, cut the rope, and the youngest brother fell to the bottom, where it was very dark. And the light disappeared as they covered the top. And at pain of knife point, the two eldest brothers told the sisters to speak not a single word of what had transpired, bound to silence at the threat of violence. Deep in the ground, younger brother wandered back and forth, growing fur over the years, growing the hooves of animals as paws, the feet of wolves, forgetting speech, forgetting song, wandering back and forth and back and forth, until the mud wave bottom of that well was trodden as flat rock can be. Years may have passed. Some say 4 years, some say 4 times 4 decades, wandering down there. One strange day, they put their hand out, this youngest brother at the bottom of the well, and felt an instrument, a flute down there, and picked it up to put it to their lips. 3 more years passed before they played their first note. And when they did, bright silver light of star appeared, and there was a little man standing beside them, skin slightly aglow, and still the color of earth and moss. "What took you so long to play the flute?" he said. "Things take their good time." The youngest brother played more notes, playing the song of their time at the bottom of the well, and with each note they played, a little glowing man appeared, another earth deity. "What can we do for you?" "Just get me out of here, all right? I'm tired of this well," said the younger brother. And they did, lifting him by each of his 1,000 curls, levitating him up into starlight, lifting him to the surface. "What can we do for you now?" they said. "Take me to the king of that far castle." Well, they did, as fast as magic can fly. And when they got there, wild man with matted locks and long fur and the pace of wolf was clapped in iron chains by the king, who had forgotten almost completely the look of the wild. But the sisters, they knew who it was. And having spent time down there themselves and learned a bit of cunning, they knew, not being able to speak this story directly, they could at least whisper of it. And so they went to their father and said, "We know a little bit about the connection between, the mystery vanishing that we underwent and the strange wild man creature who just showed up. We can't actually tell you anything, but if you stand in the hinge of the doorway by the fire, you might hear us tell a story to the flames, and you might just happen to overhear something we can't actually say." And the king stood in the place of Hermes in the hinge of the door of the storytellers, and the 3 sisters wove with the intelligence of the hawk and the heart of the mother bear and the tenacity of the goat, back and forth passing the story of the underworld. And when the good king father, who never meant to rashly banish his daughters into the darkness, heard, he freed the wild man. And of course, as in all fairy tales, there was a great wedding, and the wild creature from the well who played his flute and the 3 sisters traveled far and wide after that throughout the world, telling stories and having a wonderful time. That is the story, and that is all I know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Yay. Yay. Well, thank you guys. You guys did a really good job. I'm really proud of you guys. yeah, and so just to let everybody know once again who just showed up that the next acting class will either start next week or the week after, and it'll be on Tuesdays, just for the summer. It's I call it like summer school, summer camp, or summer stock, because they were doing theater online, virtual theater online. Okay, so